So you girls know my channel's about manipulating men, taking money from them, playing them. And a lot of comments say, do you ever feel bad? Do you ever think that karma's gonna get to you? The simple answer is no, I don't care. I don't feel bad at all playing these men. No remorse, no feelings towards them at all. Every time I do a guy dirty, the only thing that goes through my head is, did I elevate? Am I in a better position than I was yesterday? Am I happy? And if all those answers are yes, then I did amazing. I could care less. I actually envy myself a lot. If the most smartest people on this earth said, if you don't need to work, then don't work. I found out how to not work and get my business fund just by the way I talk. I could care less about how these guys feel. If their heart's broken because of me, that's something they need to personally deal with. That's their fault for getting their hopes up. Don't care.
There's literally an entire section called Crime of Passion, and it's because when you out here playing around and there's somebody taking you serious, when they find out that you were deceiving them, you never know how that person's going to respond. And I tell people, you better stop playing with people's heart.
Hey, babe, let me tell you why my homegirl put me on ice for a little minute after I told her I told you so. The scenario starts with me telling my homegirl, tell your sister to stop dealing with and dating the guy that she's dealing with. Why would I say that? Because the guy that she was dealing with, he was a good guy, down-to-earth, cool guy. The sister, not so much. Her intentions, awful. She just doesn't have good intentions when it comes to men on purpose. And I told my homegirl, this situation is not going to pan out for your sister how it usually is. And I can guarantee you that. You need to tell your sister for her best interest to stop doing this. Because my homegirl supports how her sister moves, she was just like, oh, no, not my sister, not my sister. It went right over her head.
Yeah, because they always think that they're untouchable, and it's because they don't really understand violence. They've never been in a situation where somebody's actually trying to be violent towards them, so they think that, and they live their lives as if they're untouchable. But you never know what somebody's willing to do when it comes to messing with somebody's heart. Take it serious.
Cool. And I know you're wondering, well, babe, why would you tell your homegirl to tell her sister to stop dating that man? Well, babe, I want to tell you a little bit about that man's sister. When she was 20 or 21, she was in a really bad accident. And as a result, she suffered an injury up here. I want you to keep that in mind. A couple of months into my homegirl's sister and the brother dating, the brother's sister randomly pops up to my homegirl's sister's house with 2 large bags of Ruth Chris food. Now, I want to add to this that the sister lives an hour and a half away, right? Never been to this girl's house, never been to her house, not once. But here she is at 8 o'clock p.m. at night, popping up at your house with 2 huge bags of Ruth Chris food to your exact apartment door to have dinner with you. Now, when this conversation first came up, when it first happened and she brought it up, I raised a concern about that because I'm like, well, how did she know your apartment? How did she know your apartment number? And then also I asked her, when the sister came to your house, did she threaten you? Like, don't you do this to my brother? You better not do this. She said, no, it was none of that. It was a more quiet, slightly awkward dinner. She said the only thing that she said about me being with her brother was our family values love and respect. That's all she said.
She moving like the mafia. And for those who don't know, Ruth Chris costs about $125 per meal per person. So if his sister showed up to her house with a buffet of Ruth Chris, she means business. And I don't think you understand it. She's basically saying we're welcoming, but we love our brother and we're willing to do anything for him. And we have enough money for bail money. And then she knew where she lived without ever being there. That's probably the most alarming thing. And it's probably because she was watching her on social media. She knows who she is. She sees what she's about. And she's just giving her a subtle warning. Don't do this to my brother. If you want to play around, go ahead and break up with him and go play around with who you want to play around with. But we don't play that over here. And you can make moral judgments on if that's right or wrong, whatever you think. But I'm telling you right now, there are certain people that don't joke around when it comes to their loved ones and when it comes to crimes of passion in their heart. You want to dilly-dally, you want to be a scallywag, you want to play with people's emotions. There are plenty of men that want to play that game with you. But when you mess with a man who feels like he's invested into something and then he finds out that you just been deceiving him, you never know how that person's going to respond. There are a lot of people that end up on the news because they playing with people's hearts.
I expressed my concern to my homegirl and the sister. I told them this was not a threat. This is actually a step above a threat. This was that sister letting you know, I know where you live.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that was. And babe, I want to add some additional details to this dinner. She came with these 2 huge bags of Ruth Chris, babe. The sister lives by herself. So she didn't come with just a meal for her and herself. This girl said that she had multiple meals. A feast. Every concern that I mentioned did this. Fast forward a couple months. The sister and the boyfriend at his house chilling, watching movies. Her phone is on the little table right there. It goes off. They both look. It's her ex texting her. He asks about, why is your ex texting you? This question escalates to an argument. The argument escalates to the point he puts her out of his house. She gets up, spits in his face, pulls his hair, punches him in the face, and then proceeds to leave. How do I know all this happened? Video footage.
And I'm telling you right now, there are a lot of women who are walking around putting their hands on grown men because they think that they're immune. They think that no man is going to be willing to hit them back because generally speaking, they know that men don't hit them back. And so they get used to and accustomed to putting their hands on men. And then eventually they meet their match, a guy that's willing to hit them back or a guy's sister that's willing to do something to him. Spitting on somebody is crazy. That's worse than a slap. You exchanging bodily fluids at that point. And we don't know where your mouth been.
Sister attacking him, right? She sends
Let me go back a little bit.
How do I know all this happened? Video footage. So the man sends my homegirl video footage of the sister attacking him, right? She sends it to me. I see it. I'm disgusted. I drive around the corner to my homegirl's house. The sister comes not too long after. She begins to immediately say how much she was playing that man, how much she doesn't care that they broke up, how much she never stopped talking to her ex. So I remember I was like, so what prompted you to attack that man like that? Verbatim, she says, I will be damned if I ever let a man put me out of his house and me not put my hands on him. And when she said that, I remember I looked at her. I said, you're going to have to see his sister about this. She gets big and my homegirl gets big too. Well, nobody ain't going to put their hands on my sister, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, I leave it at that. We don't talk about it no more. Months pass, right? To the point I don't forgot about the situation, all that. I'm on my way to class. Second semester done started. I get a random phone call early in the morning from my homegirl. As soon as I pick up, she's screaming. My sister's in the hospital. I don't know what's going on. Da, da, da. So again, I forgot everything. So I'm thinking, was she SA? Was she attacked? Da, da, da. I turn around immediately, pick up my homegirl. We go to the hospital.
Yeah, everybody want to play games and act big and bad until something happens to them. And then all of a sudden they didn't do nothing to deserve what they got. I find that that's very interesting.
Babe, when I walked in that room, the hairs on my neck stood up. I immediately knew. I was like, oh, no, this wasn't an SA attack. This was not an SA attack. This woman had 2 rows of stitches. One right here, her whole bottom jaw was split open. Her lip was split open. Wow. She had 4 knots. One right here, one right here, one right here, one right here. The worst sighting was the hair, babe. All of her hair was pulled out. All of it. Like, she was bald. It was just blood red spots everywhere. It was just hair, like a little bit of hair up here and a little bit of like patchy side on the back. All the rest pulled out. Girl's wrist was broke, babe. It was literally bandaged like this. She couldn't even open it. We get in the car. She's, I can't believe this is happening. And I said, no. I told you to tell your sister to stop dealing with that man because you knew she didn't have good intentions for him. Mm-hmm. I told you to tell your sister to stop dealing with that man when the sister popped up like that. I told you, but because you were so raw, like, oh, nobody's going to put their hands on my sister. Now we're on our way to the balloon store and rose store to get your sister get well balloons.
Mm-hmm. And all these feminists out here will talk all day about how dangerous men are, but then when you listen to their dating advice, they tell these women to go out here and play with these dudes' emotions as if some of these women are untouchable. And I'm not saying what happened to her was right or justified, but I am saying when you play with people, you never know how they're going to respond. Anytime somebody acts like they can't get touched, I know they don't understand violence because everybody can be touched.